Hey guys, this is Ankahet with WPGN, and today we're going to talk about copyright infringement. Yes, this is another wonderful rant video, and I had originally seen, and what spurred this is I originally saw a rant or a video that Alpha Omega Sin had done on Nintendo's cracking down of speedrunners and whatnot on YouTube. And for those of you who are not familiar with what a speedrun or what speedrunners are, it's basically when they attempt to get through the game as quickly as possible with or without tool assisting programs and whatnot. Now, there are two ways to speedrun. You can just try and play through the game as quickly as possible, taking shortcuts, not going through all of the extra, fringy content. That's one way. Or you can play it through an emulator with software assistance to help you get through it faster, which usually means making a copy of the game and editing some of the files to, say, make your own levels or do things like that. So here's what my issue with this whole copyright infringement bullshit is. Okay? For one, I'm very familiar with copyright law. I'm very familiar with the DMCA. I'm very familiar with a certain bill that I had to look up very recently that was released by the Federal Trade Commission. So I'm familiar with a lot of that. I've been in the gaming industry from a player's standpoint and a developer's standpoint at one point in time. So I've been on both ends. Now, here's the thing about the federal copyright law. The federal copyright law states that if you buy a piece of software, a CD, a DVD, a video cassette, that you are buying a temporary license to own that piece of property, and that you may not make copies of it to distribute for your own monetary gain. You're basically not allowed to sell it, sell any part of it, or anything like that. However, you can make a copy of it and give it away for free. You can make a copy of it, play the game, stream the game, record the game via capture device, stream it on the internet, show it to your friends, hand it to your friends, loan it to your friends, as long as you do not sell a copy of that game. Because once you make a copy of the game, which again isn't illegal, you can make as many copies as you like, but once you make a copy of that game, you have essentially reproduced that item that you only have paid for one temporary license for. And it's actually not considered a temporary license, it is considered a soft license. Now, the difference between a soft and a hard license is when you have a hard license, you own the game, you own everything about it. When you have what's called a soft license, or a software license, you own the game, but the intellectual property still belongs to the company that produced the game. So say I own Mario Kart 3. Say I went and bought that. I own that copy of the game, which allows me to play it as much as I want, but I cannot make a copy of that game and sell that copy to someone else. If I want to sell my copy of it to someone else, I can do that, or I can go trade it in, I can throw it away, I can set it on fire, I can throw it off the top of a mountain or into a lake. I can do whatever the fuck I please with it because I paid for that soft license. It is mine to do what I please with, as long as I am not trying to copy the game and sell it to make money. So, what this is about is Nintendo has apparently been cracking down on these speedrunners that have these YouTube channels full of videos that are either making a copy of the game through a ROM or, just speedrunning their games. Okay, well, news to Nintendo. That's not illegal. People can donate to their channel or they can donate to their stream, but they're not paying for a copy of your game. They're not paying for the ability to see your game being played. They're not paying for anything having anything to do with your game. These people that are making these duplicate copies of your ROMs are operating completely within your soft license, that ability to do so. They're not doing anything illegal. So what I say is make copies of your games, ROM, edit them if you want, play them if you want, stream them if you want, record them if you want. Now I understand that because, as Alpha Omega Sin likes to say, and I'm kind of stealing this from him just for a second, Nintendo has what he calls a big fat money cock. And they like to wave it around in people's faces, especially when you have a service like YouTube that allows people to freely upload video of whatever they, might be doing at the time. They like to go, oh, well, this infringes on our copyright, our copyrighted content. You have to take this down. Well, YouTube doesn't want a whole lot of trouble from a company that has a money cock the size of Nintendo's or Sony's or Microsoft. But here's the fucking difference. Microsoft and Sony, all of their stuff is open development software. You can mod their games, you can stream their games, and hell, most of the time they don't even give a shit if you give their games away. But they recognize the fact that all of these speedrunners, YouTubers, streamers alike are giving them exposure. And I believe that in his video he also said the same thing. What Nintendo is failing to realize here is they have only stayed relevant as a company for as long as they have because of the community that goes back and plays their own games, their old games, and says, oh, well, look how great this is. If you didn't have any of those people, your fucking shit would be boring, dry, and had been dead long ago. I mean, let's look at the facts here, okay? Pokemon, Mario. You guys have remade this so many times that when they say, oh, a new Mario game's coming out, or oh, a new Pokemon game is coming out, I don't even think twice about it. I mean, I happen to own a Pokemon game, but I don't own all the Pokemon games before it because I really couldn't give a fuck. I bought it because I thought it would be something to do when I wasn't near my computer, or, like the other day, it would have been really handy to have when I was sitting in the fucking dentist's office for an hour or more, saying, God damn it, I wish I'd remembered to bring my fucking DS. But those are the instances where that would come in handy. In reality, Pokemon's boring now. Have you seen some of the shit they're coming up with? I mean, a friend and I were discussing this earlier, and they have a fucking ice cream cone as a Pokemon. They have a garbage bag or something as a Pokemon. This new stuff they're introducing into the series is crap. It's degenerative. It's nothing more to be geared towards maybe 5-year-olds that happen to have parents that buy their a Nintendo DS, which is like $200, and I don't know why you'd spend $200 on something you're going to give a 5-year-old that's going to be broken in 7 days anyway. But that's not the point. This video is about copyright infringement. So here's the problem. They're not infringing on your copyrighted material. Technically, yes, maybe a little bit if they're changing the game files, but you know what? I mean, okay, people did it with Skyrim, they did it with Morrowind, they did it with, Fallout 1, 2, and 3. They will probably do it with 4. They've done it with multiple other games, and those companies go, oh, hey, there are some really talented people out there. Hey, good job. You guys are keeping this game fun for people. You're giving them more options than we included in the original game because we only had, a certain amount of resource and a certain amount of time to produce this stuff. But hey, you guys have, figured it out. I mean, hell, Bethesda Softworks released a creation kit for the sole purpose of creating extra content to be counted as a mod that you can install in addition to your source game files to make it more enjoyable for you or for other people. There are entire communities that exist around this, and Nintendo's going around, waving their money cock around and bashing people over the head with the ban hammer, and it's ridiculous. I must admit that yes, Nintendo when I was a kid was a large part of my miniature gaming life. But up through the years, when you had, I had the regular Nintendo, I had the Super NES, I had the Nintendo 64, I've had a Wii, I've had two Wii U's, I've had multiple consoles made by them. I had a Game Boy, I had a Game Boy Advance, I had a Game Boy Color, you know, I, I've had a total of two DSs now. And yeah, I'm not going to say that I don't play their games, but, you know, their games, Mario World, Mario Kart, Pokemon, insert random fucking color here because there's so goddamn many of them I can't remember now. They're boring. They don't introduce enough fresh blood, and it just, every time they come out with something, it's boring. It doesn't hold people's attention. They're becoming less and less relevant, and part of the reason is because they keep doing shit like this. Their reputation is getting flushed down the toilet. They're pissing off the community that keeps them alive. The president, God rest his soul, the president of Nintendo has now passed away and left it in the hands of people that he trusted and thought were going to continue on his legacy. And it just seems that since all that's happened and the poor man's dead now, that they're just shitting on what he's left in this world, and it really pisses me off. This board of directors has taken it upon themselves to eke out people that still enjoy playing their games and want to publicize their games and keep it alive, and they're just pissing all over them. I can tell you right now that if the president of Nintendo Corporation were still alive, he wouldn't approve of this shit. His goal was to make entertaining games with dynamic content that would keep people entertained and be fun. His goal wasn't to sit there and, oh, well, this guy's, doing a speed run on YouTube, so we gotta go fuck up his life. That wasn't his goal. He couldn't give a shit less about this, but this is what the company has become since this guy has passed away. So, yeah, they're not infringing on your copyright material. You need to stop doing that. And I kind of hope this video gets shared. And yeah, it's bullshit. Now here's a way around. Here's a way that you can do this. If you want to upload videos and you don't want to be susceptible to YouTube's acceptable upload policy, or all that crap, what you can do is you can go to any hosting site, GoDaddy, WebSpace. There's multiple other hosting sites that you can go to. You can get a domain name for $9-10 a year. You can get a really cheap hosting package for like $5-6 a month. Sign up for a year. It costs you maybe, what is that? It's really cheap. Embed your own video player, host your videos on your own site. Don't accept money for them. You can use whatever content you want because it is covered under the soft license. I implore people that are having this done to them to look that up. Look up, the federal copyright law. Look up, the Federal Trade Commission and their laws. Look up the DMCA, and you will soon realize that this thing that they're doing isn't part of that. It doesn't say anything about that in there. So I implore you to defend yourselves and keep the gaming industry great. And, don't bend down to these guys' will because it's bullshit. So that's really all I wanted to say about that. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing, and I will talk to you later.